Well, good morning. How about that for an abrupt start? Boom. No messing around today. We got stuff to do. Welcome to the live stream. I am, unfortunately, I can handle comments and stuff, but the whole thing isn't working. I'm using StreamYard. Yes, it's streaming at a awesome 720p. Anyway, today I thought if anyone's interested, we could have a little conversation about doing online stuff and courses and offerings and junk like that. And my buddy, who I met, Dr. Mike Clayton, to you. I get to call him Mike. Joking. We have polar opposites. He has a school. I have a school. He does project management stuff. He's like been doing it forever. He's a great guy. Has lots of advice, and I'm totally the opposite. Anyway, let's get Mike in here. Doot, 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 doot. Dr. Clayton. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm very well indeed, sir. And you?
I'm good, except let's remove that. All right. I'm already failing at StreamYard. So let me show the folks what we're doing today. Man, I need to practice this more. If we go over here's, I think I go like this. Boop. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to go over courses and offerings. You know, you may have a YouTube channel, you may have a business, you may have whatever. Maybe you learn something. Maybe you don't. Whatever. Mike and I are going to talk about should you or shouldn't you? Like, how do you decide if you're going to run a course or an offering or if it's right for you? What does it take? We're going to go over some of the process and time and discipline and long game. We're going to check out, what makes a good course. Like, what about content and presentation style and user experience and how to serve your students? And the ultimate question, do you need a lot of gear? Most people here know what the answer to that's going to end up being. Here, hosting, marketing, and selling. We're going to go over platforms, YouTube affiliates, and some other stuff. And then questions and answers. Of course, I'll try and answer them as we go along or between our blah, 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 blah in the chat. And hopefully we can keep this to an hour and everybody who comes here all the time just laughed out loud. All right, let's get that off the screen. Do. Wow. This is going to be a fail. Okay, let's first see who we got here. We got Captain Jack. Hello, sir. Continuous conversation. Short answer to your question. Nope. Morning. Which coffee are we having this morning? Hey, for me, it's Kaladi Coffee. Well, Mike Clayton, the guest is you. That's awesome, dude.
Hello.
Captain Jack, Josh Scott. Hello, sir. Welcome. We're talking about coffee. Michael Finn, our favorite wildlife photographer, is here.
Hi, Michael.
Okay, I guess the stream started. Great. Oh, Walter's here. Hey, Walter. I love Walter. I've said that a million times. I think I'm creeping on him. Okay. Let's start with number one. Should you or shouldn't you? Now, when I say online courses and offerings, that's a lot of things. Hey, my other buddy's here. Good morning, sir. That's Andre. Awesome channel. Should you wait. I have this set up.
Tech.
Bad, huh? Should you or shouldn't you? And what are we talking about? Online courses and offerings. That could be a course, like I do at the university, or courses, like Mike does. That could be maybe you're selling some digital asset, like LUTs or things like that. Maybe you're selling books. Maybe you're offering something. Maybe you're doing merch on your channel, which you can do. branded T-shirts and stuff. They call it merch. Should you or shouldn't you? I'll let Mike go first. What do you think, Mike?
Definitely. You should. No,
Great. Me too.
That's
Next
it.
question is.
Okay. I think everyone's going to have to make their own answer for themselves, and it comes down, I think, to what do you want? What are you doing? What is your YouTube channel for, and how do you see yourself going forward? And I think the answer is that if you want to make more money from your YouTube channel than simply adverts and maybe affiliates, then you have to have something to sell. And that gives you the most sustainable, maybe not controllable source of income, but the source of income where you are the most in control. Being able to control something doesn't necessarily mean you can drive the outcomes. You can't necessarily make the sales happen, but you can run it on your own terms. So if you've got an idea for a business, then setting up some form of online product to sell is the easiest way to build a business these days. And as Kevin says, there are loads of different ways of doing it. And the thought process has to be about comparing the time commitment against the potential upside, because the barriers to entry in terms of cost are pretty small. I'm not saying it costs nothing, but we'll talk about what you need to build it. But the minimum amount of technology and the minimum amount of services you need to buy is pretty small, and therefore most of it is going to be most of your commitment is going to be time.
Yeah, agree. It's a time commitment, as you know. The idea that, in my opinion, not always true, but the idea that you're going to throw some merchandise up on your YouTube channel and people are going to buy it. It really is. We'll get into this later, but it really is if you build it, they will come, and you put in a little bit, maybe you throw up some offering and a bunch of people get it. I think in most cases it's folly. It does take work. It does take a commitment. It should be something you're jazzed about. We have a good question here from Walter. Can anyone create a course, or do you have to have a high value skill? You have to have a high value skill, or you can't. I'm joking. In my opinion, something. I mean, I talk about this to the YouTube Academy's course students and online all the time. You know something other people don't. I guarantee you know something other people don't. And I guarantee there's 100 people or 1,000 people, more likely 10,000 people, more likely 100,000 people that don't know what you know. And I think many take it for granted that everybody knows. Well, everybody doesn't know. If they did, my channel would disappear tomorrow. Same with Mike. He does both high-end and low-end courses on project management. And he covers some higher-end stuff, but he covers some lower-end stuff too. Yeah. Everybody does not know how to manage time. Yeah. Everybody does not know how to set up their tripod. So in my opinion, Walter, and I'll let Mike answer this for himself, don't take for granted what you know, because there's a ton of people at any age level that don't know. And if you're going to make an offering, you just need to attract or find those people or get them to find you, and people will pay you money for that. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I would say absolutely you need a high value skill, but the weasel word there is, or the weasel words are high value. Your perception, what matters is the perception of the potential buyer of the value. So if the potential buyer of your course perceives what you're offering as high value to them, and the price you're charging to be reasonable in the context of that value, then you will sell courses as you find people who need them. But Kevin's exactly right. What constitutes high value to one person may be very different to what constitutes high value to another. In Kevin's YouTube course, he talks about offering 10x value. If you've got someone who wants to get started on a journey, then to them, the highest value is to know the 3 or 4 most important things that they can do that are simple, and they want to know how to do them with confidence. To you, you may have almost forgotten that. You may have to go back from that level of unconscious competence where you do it without thinking and figure out, how did you learn in the first stage? And if you didn't learn in the best way, what would be the new best way to teach it? That can be of huge value. So it really is about asking not what your perception of that value is, but what the potential buyer's perception of that value is. And if you can then charge a price that is significantly below the value to them, then they will snap it up. All you then have to do is find those people and convince them that you are the right person to buy from. But that's another issue, which
absolutely.
we'll come to.
I mean, okay, so I offer, well, I don't know why I'm doing this. Air quotes. So I offer the...
Air exclamation mark.
Oh, that's sweet. I love it.
Right. So question mark.
I offer a course, I think it's $9 or $12 on monitors. What for? It's way too low priced, and it's hopefully to introduce people to me and my courses. You're going to go out and spend $100 or $200 or $500 or $1,000 on a monitor. And it goes through and says, what's a good monitor look like? What should you look for? What's the minimum you should find in a monitor? So you're paying $12 to get knowledge that you may not have on everything to look into a monitor before you go spend the hundreds of dollars. I think it's worth it. I don't know what I've reduced this course for. I've been told I should charge $16 million for it, whatever, blah, blah. For the new YouTube Academy course, I think it's reduced to $190 something. People are like, what? That's too much. Then the course isn't for you. But everybody who's taken the course, most everybody, without exception, has upped their game and has gone in knowing what to do and what not to do. They did the work. They applied themselves to it. And I think that's for any course to the point, which is like RVing for newbies. If I went, hey, I'm going to go and take my wife on an RV trip. I know nothing about this. Like, I'm not even sure how you drive these things. I could either go watch a bazillion YouTube channels, which can get really old, or if I had a course from someone like RVing for newbies, maybe I don't even know. I'm not even going to tell you what the price is at. $100, $50, whatever. That showed me you're going to go take a trip. You're renting a RV for the first time. Here's the things you need to do. Here's the licenses or whatever you have to have. Here's how you hook them up. This is what I have to watch for. If I was going to take a trip, I would absolutely spend $50 or $100. So I was knowledgeable before I took this giant toaster on wheels out. So the point is, I think, back to Walter's, you got something you don't know. I may want to know it, and if I do, I'm going to pay for it. Hey, look at this, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Melissa, we love you.
Melissa, if this had a bunch of heart things, in fact, I should screenshot this and send it to my wife. To be like, yeah, whatever. Continuous conversation. Question. Can we have a couple examples of the low-end ones and the usual cost of this for customer? I'll start with and I'll give myself 30 seconds, which means it'll be a minute.
Or two.
And you're going to hate this. It depends. My monitor's course is $9 or $12. Is it priced right? For some people, it's too low. For some people, it's too high. For some people, they don't care. If you offer something and you realize, for instance, I offer the YouTube course. Okay, fine. If you want to go watch a billion videos and get a bunch of advices and go down the path and make all the mistakes, fine. If you want to bypass all that, fine. Think about it. People will go to university. I'm not dinging universities. And learn the basics of business, more or less, spend 2 years doing it, and spend tens of thousands of dollars. The perceived value is, I'm going to get a lot back. So in answer to this, depends on your audience, depends whether you want to make some money from a small segment of people who are willing to exchange with you for that money, or whether you want to help a lot of people. I've seen people get up, and I've taken these courses. I've, seen these courses. Learn how to be an Amazon affiliate. Price $3,900. What? Some people are really into it, and they realize the value. They may spend $3,900, but if they really apply themselves to the discipline, they could make much more than that back. Anyway, you talk, Mike.
Well, yeah. So in terms of low end, I mean, when I created my basic project management courses, I created 3 sizes: small, medium, and large, and they were all video courses. But in order to get people into it, to give them some idea of who I was early on, I had an alternative for them, which was a free product, which was, in my case, a glossary of project management terms. So you can imagine virtually anything that you're doing, there will be terms that you will understand because you've been doing it for a long time, but your audience won't. It's very easy to come up with a dictionary, which for project management, I mean, there's over 200 words that is in mine, and it's by no means complete. But you can, and there's a little introduction to the basics, about, maybe 1,000-word introduction, and then a dictionary, and that's free. And then when people buy that, I then say, well, if you want more, and I then offer them an email course, which is priced at $27, but I do it. If they buy it straight away, I discount it down to $7. The idea being that just gets them into the buying habit, and then at the end of that email course, which is a series of 10 emails that come once a week, that's automated, and then quite simply, I then make them an offer for one of the bigger courses with a discount. So you can do all sorts of things. I've also got, for example, a bundle of a load of my YouTube videos with some description, but organized and offered without adverts. So having made all the YouTube videos, I've got an instructional set and bundled that up and made that a low price, and put in a load of other products that I've created that are small. So you can kind of build it up, and it really doesn't take much to come up with something introductory. And it's the sort of thing where if you sit down with a few friends, you can usually brainstorm what would be the questions you want answered. And then you have to think, how could I answer that succinctly in a way that's useful, but leaves so much more unsaid, so that there's then the incentive. And that what then happens is people buy that because there's a low barrier to entry. It's low cost. They like it. They enjoy it. They come to trust you. And that's what YouTube for me is for. It's to get people to trust me, because they get my free stuff on YouTube. They get a sense of my personality. They get a sense of my style of talking about project management. And therefore they think, actually, I'd like to learn project management from this guy. I want more than just a different video every week. I want a structured course, and I like the way he explains it, so I'll go to it. So it's largely around thinking about how you can get a little package that is of value. And usually the easiest way to do that is the lowest slice of knowledge, but the other way you can do it is a discrete corner of knowledge. Just cut a little bit out of the circle of knowledge that tackles one particular thing. So I think Kevin used the idea of RVing. I'm not an RVer. We don't do that in the UK very much. People have caravans here, but you could say connect a little kind of mini course, 3 videos or so on how to connect your RV up to the mains, the water, and the gas, and that's it. It's a tiny bit of the whole knowledge, but it would show the user something useful and prove to them that you know what you're talking about.
Well, interesting because when I started, I started my university to give longer form content, and I started with a bunch of free stuff just to put it up there and never even thought of like monetizing it. And what I found was I got a lot of people over there that didn't give a crap, and it was a lot of high maintenance, and I was paying a lot of money at the time for me to manage the people, to manage the questions, to manage. It was kind of like having the volume of viewers and people over 125K now, and all the comments and everything else, and managing that and never monetizing it. I mean, I spend, it costs me some money to keep the lights on, and I have a lot of lights. So I started with the free offerings, and it was funny because the YouTube Pros Academy, specifically one person, like told me, you need to stop doing that. And she was right. Because what was happening is and my wife, I kept offering these free offerings. I was getting nothing in exchange. More importantly, the people, a very large percentage of the people who signed up were very high maintenance and would never buy anything for me. It was a bit eye-opening for me, and I know a lot of companies go through this, which is I highly suggest you offer small free offerings. People warm up to you, they see how you do, you get engagement, and then you offer higher priced things. For me, it's about helping people and being able, let me put it this way. You're doing people a disservice if you don't let them pay for your stuff, because you're going to get a bunch of people who will not appreciate it. I could set up a course. I'm not dissing filmmaking school. Some people need that. I could set up a course where in a month I could teach you everything that you're taught in filmmaking school and do it for free. And I guarantee you people wouldn't appreciate it. But when someone goes and spends $20,000 for filmmaking school, they're vested in it. So that was my thing. Anyway, we should move on to what does it take to build and run a course. Let me run through these comments real quick. Mike is too exposed. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, sorted that out. But I
did.
Yep. I could expose myself more.
No. And Captain Jackson there. Dan-splaining, exposure. Mike is too loud compared to you. Okay. Thanks.
I'll move my mic away.
Yeah. Because that's always the solution. How about I move my mic closer? Oh, I know what's happening. I usually let's do this. I usually hopefully that's better. There we go. I usually use OBS and I don't use StreamYard, and whatever. We don't care. I have a captain's licensing course that I used to teach at a brick and mortar school, but have no route to bring such a course to online because of U.S. Coast Guard rules. It's a problem I've been working on. Cool. He's like a real live mariner. Yeah. Listen to Outback. Hit the thumbs up. It's important.
And if you don't like it, hit the thumbs down twice.
Yeah. We got a question here, I think. Is it better to send the whole course at once or divide in chapters? Is it a sweet spot in the length of the low end courses? Hey, the only reason I can talk about this is because I've been doing the university for 6 years, and I've pretty much, like, if you could make a list of everything you do wrong, I got the t-shirt and you could check them all off. Yay me. Learning. I have found, I'll give you an example quickly. Maybe Mike can chime in on this. My first original YouTube course, albeit had so much information in it, had gave everything you need to know, and it was, I don't remember, it was like 16 freaking hours long, and it had 80 lectures in it. I would go, hey, you should set up social media on Twitter. Then I would go in. I'd show you how to set it up. From start to finish, how to set up your email. Like, this thing was a monster. Excuse me. And what happened, and what I discovered for myself and others was too much to confront, was too much to do, was too much information. My suggestion is like a whole course or divided in chat. My suggestion is, if you're going to do a course, start small. Maybe it's free, maybe it's cheap, and look at, if someone doesn't know this is for me, if someone doesn't know this, how do I start, continue, and end, and give them something of value that they didn't know? You're not going to please everybody. Keep it short and move it into sections. If I go into a course, how to become a project manager, and I go to Mike's courses, and I start at the beginning, and I see 152 lectures. It's too much to confront, it's too much to digest, and it's too much to do. I would rather have here is the course on what project management is all about, what you're going to experience, how it works. Oh, I'm interested. That makes sense. Then I would have a course on how to get started. Maybe it's an hour or two long. Then I would have a course on getting your blah, blah, and I could path the way up or bail. That's my opinion. What about you, Mike?
Yeah. Well, one of the things the question asks is whether to send the whole course at once. And there are two different ways of creating a course. There's the, if you like, the all-in-one, where I buy the course and I get access to everything.
Is he talking about dripping?
Yes, I was going to say. In fact, I was going to say jargon. So the jargon for the alternative is a drip course. And a drip course is one where you feed your students the information a bit at a time. And there's, I suppose, two reasons why you might do this. One is because you're actually creating the course and selling it in real time. And a lot of course creators do this. They say, I'll create the course and you can sign up and you will get a new module every month or every week as I create it. And that allows them to sell something they haven't created and therefore monetize before they invest their time. Mm-hmm. And typically when you do that style of course, the user will expect a fair degree of interaction from you, and often there's a promise that you will adapt the design of the course from what you learn from the students. The other reason for doing it is because you believe that the students will best learn by having the information a bit at a time rather than the overwhelm. And I only do that in one course, and it's my email course. And in fact, when people sign up for my email course, it's 10 emails. The first introductory kind of pre-email says, do you want this daily or weekly? Because some people are in a hurry. They're hungry. They need the information and they want it now, and they like to learn in big chunks. And what in fact I do with my drip email course is I also give them access to all the information straight away. But then getting the emails weekly or monthly is a way of giving them a way to digest it. It's giving them a way to kind of feed slowly and ruminate on the information. I'm slightly mixing my metaphors there. So I think it is a good question to ask, but the answer is dictated largely by how you want to educate people. And I would typically say that most people will want to have access to everything at one point. And Kevin's right. If you build a huge course, and as I say, my small, medium, and large, my large course has well north of 100 lectures or videos, but it's divided into sections. And one of the introductory modules says how to take this course, and it basically says, if you want to do this over 3 weeks, here's the suggested stuff for weekly viewing, and if you want to do it over 4 weeks, over 5 weeks, over 6 weeks. So as an educator, you have to think about your audience and how they might want to consume it. And if you think they're going to need guidance because the course is big, it's sophisticated, then give them that guidance. But absolute cardinal rule is, whatever you're going to do in the course, when you market it and advertise it, you've got to be straight up. There's no point in telling people, oh, there's this fantastic course, you get everything you need, and then they sign up and they have to wait a week for part 2. If they weren't expecting it, they're going to be dissatisfied. So always be upfront.
Totally. We're kind of into this second area, which is what does it take to build and run a course? We're kind of jumping around, but that's okay because we're getting these questions. I can tell you that. Okay, let's back up a little bit. I don't care who you are. I do not care who you are. You have something somebody doesn't know on planet Earth. A lot of people. And you just need to figure out, for instance, how do I take what I know, make it assimilatable so someone could start, and at the end, they know something that you were offering that they didn't know before. Period. You got to play the long game. It's going to take, your biggest investment is time, and it's going to take a lot of discipline. And if you're one of those, well, I made a course and nobody came to it, this is not discipline or playing a long game.
Yeah. Before I give my talk, can I answer, because we've got that question on screen at the moment, RVing for newbies, and it's a good question. Teaser type course, say 10 sections, first 2 sections are free, then subscription for the last 8. Is this a feasible concept? Everything's a feasible concept. The question you have to ask is, how easy is it to execute, and what is the kludge if you can't do it easily? And the kind of platforms that are designed for delivering courses and make it easy for you to deliver courses, as far as I know, that particular model isn't straightforward. However, that's not to say you can't find a kludge. There's Facebook groups where people ask these questions about the platform they're on, and someone will come on. Usually it's someone like me who go, well, this is how I would do it. I'm not sure I'm saying it's neat and elegant, but it could be made to work. So the answer to RVing for newbies is yes, it is feasible. It's a slightly unusual model, but there's lots of ways you could make that go if you thought commercially and educationally that was right for you. But the easiest thing to do is to say, have a teaser type course with 2 sections that you give away for free, but people sign up for it. And then at the end of that course, you say, and if you want 8 more sections of real goodness, then, here's your one-time discount, buy it now and you can get it. Thank you for joining up. And for people who want it all in one, you can have a kind of 10 section, buy it all in one go option as well. So there's lots of ways of doing it.
And test it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like making YouTube videos. Take anybody, I don't care who it is, you go look at their first YouTube videos as they progress through time, and they're going to relatively suck from the first ones. If they don't, they've already been doing it somewhere else. Same thing with a course. Why waste your time? And I know some people out there, some I'm communicating with right now, and they are just bleeping their course to death, and the shoot and the quality and the camera and maybe if and this and that. And they haven't even done their first offering. Shoot
Absolutely.
Something, anything, throw it out there to people, make a small, call it a mini course. Here's a mini course on the 10 tips and tricks you need to know before going out on the road. And I promise you're going to want to put 65 different things in there. Don't. 10 things, be done, throw it out there, give it time. Like on my YouTube channel, I started promoting the university years ago, and it took forever for, like you tell a kid, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room. It took forever for people to go, oh, you got a university where you do stuff? It's not that they're stupid, it's just that they don't recognize it. And I had to start saying it. Hey, I got stuff over here. So create a mini course, test it, let it roll, and don't invest all your time in some big, giant, massive, high-priced course that nobody knows about
Yeah, and the same goes for.
I'm going to give Jake Sloan a free get out of jail free card on this one, because Jake Sloan has years, if not decades, of experience. He knows more about drones on his little finger than many other people. He's currently creating a course on drones, which I really need. And it was supposed to be posted last year, but he hasn't posted. Yes, I'm joking. And he knows what he's doing, and he's a smart guy, and he's been doing YouTube for a while, and he knows how to make a YouTube video. I'm sure he's going through all the what's too much, what's too little, or whatever, but he's doing something smart. And I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, is he's creating the course, and he's taking a handful of people like me, and he's letting us take the course and give him feedback, because I am a total noob. I have the little mini, DJI Mini, and I've flown it about 10 or 12 times now. 6 of those times I ran it into a tree. And I want the course. I'm willing to pay for the course. And he's doing a smart thing where he's floating it by some people he trusts. Sucker. And hey, like for me, I'm the perfect audience. Does this course get you from total noob up to feeling somewhat competent and being able to fly? Yeah or no? But I've done it. Every single person who's created stuff, to my knowledge, has done it, where they just create this giant mammoth thing, spend 6 months or a year doing it, like the people I find out have been writing their scripts for the last 2 years, instead of throwing it out there, testing, are people interested, and then proceeding or doing something else. Blah, 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 blah. We should move into the next part.
Yeah, I just want to say that the general rule is keep it simple, and that applies to the content of the course, to the structure of the course, and to how you market it and how you take it to market. When you start getting into this, you'll start reading about all these different pieces of advice from thousands of different experts, some of whom will try to charge you a lot for their courses. But the reality is, if you keep it simple and work on one simple assumption, if you deliver a high quality course that is well targeted on people who need it, and you sell it for a price that is reasonable, then you will be able to make sales. And all manner of clever marketing funnels and all this won't make a hell of a lot of difference. Those are particularly good if you're trying to suck people into something that doesn't have the value that it represents.
Well, I mean, I'm going to take a crack at what does it take to build and run a course. We're going to go back to some of these questions because there's good questions in here. I had all the same questions. What does it take to build and run a course? Outline, process, investment, time, dollars, expertise, discipline, long game. Let me just keep this one short because we're at 39 minutes. The process is now, not everything we talked about as I go, this is my audience. I want to teach basics. I want someone to come in, like the new color course or the YouTube course, take the course, get to the end and go, I learned something. Hopefully they apply it and it is somehow upped whatever game for them better. I spend way too much time doing these courses. The color course, I'm on finishing section 5, round 7 of reshooting. Bad me, and I know better. It will cost you money. It doesn't have to. It will cost you money. I spend, just for the hosting site that I'm currently using, around $1,000 a year. What? That's terrible. Okay. You're never going to get off the ground. You have to spend money to make money. And some people are stupid like that. You're never going to get off the ground if you don't spend a little bit of money to get going. I want to start a course. Well, I have to buy a camera? Yeah.
Or use your phone.
What? I have to have a website? Yeah. So I would suggest if you're going to start a course or an offering, don't sit down and figure out how much it's going to cost you. Just start making videos, find some free whatever. As far as expertise, you know something other people don't know. Figure out how to communicate that to them. As far as discipline, you need to discipline yourself. I'm talking to myself. And as far as the long game, it's a long game. Period. The end. Like YouTube, like any business. Mr. Mike.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the outline process, we'll talk about the different platforms and the different technology you can use. There are some minimum requirements, but you're always going to be balancing ease for you and flexibility and price. There's those kind of three corners of the triangle. If you want the ultimate flexible thing, then you're going to have to work hard at it. If you want the easy to use thing, then you're going to have to pay for it. If you want the cheap thing, then you're going to have to do a lot of work to make that happen for yourself. But it's all learnable. It is absolutely all learnable. So the process, you've got to think about what you're going to deliver. You've got to, if we're talking about a video-based course, you've got to make some videos. And that takes a bit of discipline. If you've got substantial chunks of time, then you can get it done quite quickly. If you haven't, just plan it out. If you can only dedicate a couple of hours a night for 2 or 3 evenings a week, that's fine. It's going to take you a while to build it, but you build it. But you do also have to mentally budget some time for marketing it, for creating some infrastructure around it, to promote it. And also, if you are successful, you will get students. And if you get students, do not underestimate the fact that you have made a commitment to educate them. And it's very easy to think of this as passive income. It is not. You have to keep working. There are a lot of people telling you, you can have financial freedom. You create a course and it sells automatically, and then
you
people
sip margaritas on the beach for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And you will fail.
If you care about your students, then you've got to answer their questions. And the reality is that people who aren't your students, who haven't paid for anything, who haven't even signed up for a free course, will come to you. I mean, I got one. It was the middle of the night, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, my time. Someone sent a question, which was quite evidently a test exam question or a homework question on project management. And I, as a principal, I don't answer those questions for people.
This story.
And then 5 minutes after I didn't answer it, and bear in mind, I'd been asleep for about 4 hours at this time. She sent another email saying, "You haven't answered my email." And there were 3 more by the morning. I just ignored it for a while I cooled off. But there are people who will quite reasonably expect you to answer quite reasonable questions. And Kevin and I are both alike in the sense that we engage with these people because they ask respectfully. Their questions are, let's say, the right sort of questions. They genuinely want to know the answer. They're not just looking for a shortcut to exam success or whatever. And we engage with them. And you need to allow that time too. And you need to maintain your course, in whatever that means. So there is as Kevin says, it's a long game. And if you expect that you can build a course and suddenly get rich, then you've drunk the Kool-Aid of the people who advertise on YouTube, and you're a fool. If you want to,
you're a fool.
not you. You do it. You're on screen. I'm not saying you're a fool and you do it.
No,
but
no, not him. He's
he looks he's assertive, so I shan't get.
Well,
but
no,
the fact is,
like, he does stuff. He's knowledgeable.
I don't know you do it, but if you think that actually there is, I would like to supplement my income, and this is a way that is possibly for me, and I'm prepared to put the work in. I'm prepared to learn the stuff I don't know to do it, and I'm prepared to take my time. And I recognize it could take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years before I start making some good money. Then it's a very sensible thing to do. And all it takes to build and run a course, frankly, is persistence.
Yep. Absolutely. Persistence. I mean, It's the same with YouTube. It's the same with anything. And if you're, as Mike says, drinking the Kool-Aid, as Mike says, like he made that up,
Kool-Aid.
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Branded mug.
Whoa.
By the courses.
Mine's not branded, although I have one coming.
Yeah.
I created the simplest mug ever, and it says blah, blah, blah.
I do like the glass. Have you got one of the glasses?
It says, which one? The blah, blah, blah one?
No, the other one. It's got something on one side and something on the other. I can't remember what it was.
Oh,
I saw it.
It says, what now? Question mark. And you turn the glass to the other side. It says, make videos, make a video, make a video, make a video,
that's the one I like.
He's right. I'm not saying I had this in my brain before I started. I had to learn this. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, or you're going to start a business, or you're going to start offering sewing or knitting or lessons or live things or whatever it is, if you think you're just going to do that and not work at it, my suggestion is don't start, because you're in for huge disappointment. I'm not tooting my own horn. Most everybody here knows I love to help people. That's why I do YouTube. That's why I do the university. Just so happens, duh, some people don't connect these dots. Most here do. You need money to pay for things. And so I'm fortunate that I have people who support me and are willing to do that so I can do what I love and help other people. That's number one. That being said, this idea that you're just going to, we live in a society where everything's quick. Email's quick, and this is quick, and products look like they're released quickly, and communications are quick, and everything's at super light, fast speed. The one thing that people need to step away from the cliff from and realize is if you're going to start any venture, I'm going to be more recognized on social media. I'm going to start a course. I'm going to offer training. I'm going to offer lessons. I'm going to offer Zoom sessions. I'm going to do yoga stuff. I'm going to teach people how to play guitar. I don't care what it is. Step back and say, I'm in it for the long game. I'm willing to just keep doing it despite everything that's going to get thrown at me. I'm willing to work, and this is fun. Go for it. If you're the anti that, then don't do that. And thanks for joining the pre-session this morning. I get really passionate about helping people, and I get really, I apologize, I get really not tolerant of people go, well, Kev, I started a YouTube channel, I put my name up there, and I posted a video 3 months ago and nothing happened. And I'm like, get to work. Sorry. Hey, what makes a good course, Mike?
Basically, a good course is one where people will learn from. And to me, we learn when we have what I call a moment of insight. And there are two fundamental insights. We either realize that something we've been told connects to something we already know, or two things we're being told connect to one another, and we start to see a pattern. So that's one type of insight. It's that kind of pattern forming relationship insight, which tells us that, okay, I understand that. I know that. This thing I didn't know. Now I see how it kind of fits with it. The other kind of insight that we get is a distinction insight, where we thought two things were the same, and then we suddenly realized they're different. So, in the world of photography, I just thought, exposure was one big thing. But now I've understood that when I look, what I see on the screen is a collection of things about the way that the highlights are handled, the way the shadows are handled, the way the midtones are handled, the white balance, and all of that. And I start to see those as different things. I remember actually my moment of distinction insight in photography years ago was, I'd kind of known about ISO, and I'd known about shutter speed, and I'd known about aperture, but actually it was Dave Dugdale who explained it as a triangle, and I'm sure that it's not original to him, but because in project management, we talk about the triangle of balance between time, cost, and quality, or time, cost, and scope if you're an American project manager. And so I had this kind of moment of relationship between the triangle of light and the triangle of balance in project management. And I started to see how those three things interacted. And so a good course is one which helps people to understand distinctions and understand connections. How you do that is a matter of what you're trying to teach and your own personal style. So a good way to do it is to get people to practice something so they really understand it and they really start to make physical connections between their fingers and the thing. And Kevin often talks about drilling using your camera, drilling all of those stuff. And that's about making all those connections and making it seem automatic. For me, it's about finding ways to explain things and using diagrams. But we all learn in many different ways. We learn by practicing, we learn by seeing, by looking at data, by listening to things, by reading things. You can build a course that takes a subset of those things, but if it works for a subset of potential learners, you will find the learners for whom it works. And as long as it's authentic to you and it helps people make those connections, and it helps people draw those distinctions, and they start to understand things, that creates a good course. And that's about content, it's about style, it's about how people experience doing the course and dealing with you as an individual. And it's about, serving your students, really. So that's my answer.
I mean, what makes a good course? In my opinion, what makes a good teacher, what makes a good educator, what makes a good elementary school teacher, what makes a good anybody who's training anything. This is my opinion. I consider it a fact. If someone can come to you and you can make it without insulting their intelligence, you can make it so they understand what you're teaching them, they can apply or do, this is way missed, that's a whole nother rant I won't go into. They can apply or do the thing you're teaching them, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you shoot it on your screen and it's just a bunch of slides and you're blah, blah, blahing. Doesn't matter if you shoot with an iPhone. Doesn't matter if you got $50,000 worth of gear and epic equipment. Doesn't matter whether it's you're using some free thing that offers your students these courses, or whether you're spending, I'm making this up, $10,000 a month at some fancy schmancy school thing. You need to make something, and you'll make it again and again, that serves the people that are coming. They're giving you money in exchange for something. If you can teach some of those people something that they now know and are able to apply it somehow to their life and it works, everything else is mechanical crap. How do I create it? Am I good on camera or not? Should I present? And as Mike said, if you can do that, then you just serve people. You make friends with them, you serve them. They are not there to pay you money to support you. You are there to give them a 2x or 5x or 10x value, or even a 1-for-1 value of what they paid for, and serve them. You work for those people.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's that. Hey, you want to talk about hosting, marketing, and selling? Let's talk about platforms, Mike.
Platforms.
Let's go rant about platforms.
It's a real shame, because you and I both use the same platform. So A, we can't argue about which is the best, and B, we can't speak from real deep experience about any of the others. But here is my single point of view. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, which it's like, I've got a Canon camera, but now Kevin's bought a Sony. So Sony's probably, he can do things with his Sony that I can't do with my Canon. So it's better. So it's nonsense. You know, when I signed up, I spent a while evaluating the platform that I'm on, and I decided that I would only ever consider changing platform if I was convinced that there would be a substantial change in my income as a result of changing it. Because yes, the different platforms that you can use, and I'll talk about them in a minute. They will kind of leapfrog each other with functions and services, and the prices will shift, but settle on something that's right for you. And when you're evaluating things, you know, ask yourself, what are the key things I must have? Find the platforms that have that. Ask yourself, what are the key things I'd like to have? And then see which platforms of those limited few might have some of those. And if you can find some of those, then start to test drive them and compare them. And then if everything else is equal, then look at price and other factors. But the gross thing is, do you go for a platform that makes it easy for you because it is designed for delivering courses to students, and it automates lots of things like collection of money and all the things that you would have to do? And for me, that is the ideal. I'm prepared to pay a little more, accept a little less income for someone to maintain that platform and keep it working, because we're talking about commerce. And, you know, I know some American course makers ignore European VAT. I'm in Europe. If I ignore European VAT, well, the tax office used to be in the UK, Customs and Excise, and they used to have the power, and probably still do, to come knocking on your door at any time of day or night and expect to come in. So I'm quite happy for my platform to manage tax and to manage all that stuff. But you can build a platform. You can go very simple. You can sell a course on something like Gumroad, where on a free plan, they make their money by taking a certain percentage of the money that's paid to you. And you can just have a very, very simple process for selling it, and it can cost you virtually nothing to make a sale. You can build a website, and you can have plugins and tools on the website that manage the course, a learning management system. You can have other plugins that manage the membership. You can have other plugins that manage the commerce. And yes, that can be cheaper because you don't have the recurring fees, but then you've got to build the thing and you've got to maintain it. And if it goes down, it's your problem. And you've got to get up in the middle of the night and get your users back online. So the platform that I went for is Teachable, but it has lots of competitors like Thinkific and Usendler and Kajabi and all of these. But I am sure that all of those each have something that Teachable doesn't, or do something better than Teachable. But at the moment, I think if I move platform, it would be a whole load of work, and I might get a slightly nicer experience. Maybe not, but I don't think I would substantially affect my income. And so I'm not going to bother with that. So that's my perspective on platforms.
Hey, what time is it? I want to make sure when I go on this rant, I only give myself about 2 minutes.
Put a timer up.
Put a timer. Yeah, I wish I could on here. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to.
Do you want me to set a timer on my phone with an alarm?
No.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. 2 minutes.
No. Oh, make it 5, and then I can finish in 3, and it can be epic. Let me just
I'll make
say
it
this.
5, and you can finish in 5, and we'll be amazed.
This will be a short commercial for. Here we go. Here's a short commercial for Knock It the Bleep Off. How about that? Mac versus Windows. Stop it. iPhone versus Android. Stop it. Premiere Pro versus Vegas versus DaVinci. Stop it. The Shure SM7B versus the Rode. Stop it. The Sony a7S III versus the Canon C70. Stop it. Stop it. It's a game that people like to play. Now, and This is a rant because it makes me crazy because I'm trying to help people get better at what they do. And they're like, oh, well, Joe told me I should switch from Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve. And over on DaVinci, it's like, oh, Premiere Pro, and it crashes and it pisses me off and it's terrible. And the same thing over there. Apple, Android, Mac, PC, to wit, Teachable. You got your whole... And remember, all the people bitching and complaining are a small percentage that you see because they're bitching and complaining. The other 98% of the people, they're not bitching and complaining because what they're using is working.
Yeah.
Teachable, you should not, and they suck, and you should use Kajabi. And over on Kajabi, it's like, I was using Kajabi and I clicked on something and it doesn't work. So you should use something else. Oh, you should use Udemy or Skillshare, where they can go sell your courses for free for 2 months without getting your permission. If you want to do that, fine to get out. It's the same BS. When you start a course or online marketing or whatever, people are going to tell you to get a Wix site. People are going to tell you to get a, what is this famous?
Squarespace?
Now, what's the one where WordPress? You
WordPress.
shouldn't use this. You shouldn't use Teachable or these other sites because it takes a month or two for them to pay you. Where you could tie into something like where you get paid immediately. And there's all this crap. Blah, 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 blah. Go out and find out either what you already have and use that. Go out and find something that works for you and do the research like I did for 6 freaking months. Decide on something and shut down all the doors, the windows, and everything else that says what you're using sucks. You should use this. Did I make it? 5 minutes?
Oh, well, you're well under. What is it?
Yeah!
Look at that. You've still got another 1.5 minutes to go. No, that's absolutely spot on. I mean, there are some things that people say that just get on my nerves. And one of them is, you have to wait a month for your money. It's like, if you're earning, let's say, $1,000 a month, then once you get past that first month of getting it, it doesn't matter whether you wait a month for it because you're still getting $1,000, whether it's last month's $1,000 or this. There's a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, over on Teachable, Kajabi, and all these, you can tie into something called Stripe. And all these people jumped over. I can get my money right now. Somebody pays. Guess what? If someone refunds, you have to handle it.
Yeah,
if someone,
exactly.
If you have affiliates and you have to pay them. Oh, and you have to do all the math. And you have to do all the W-2s or the payment or the tax crap. And in Michael's case, and in my case, if somebody buys something over in
Europe,
and they need to be charged VAT, it does.
Yeah.
Here's what I do. I post courses, I script them out, I put the videos up, and I do all that. Now, here's what I do for accounting, taxes, reporting, charging people tax in the U.S., which is becoming more and more, and in other countries, refunds, all that. Here's what I do for that. Oh, someone bought a course. That's it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, thanks for I don't know what they call it now, the W-9, and I report that on my taxes.
Yeah.
That alone, I just hired someone to handle all my accounting and BS, and it's secure, and I don't have to worry about security, and I don't have to, somebody wants to refund, I go like this, blank, and it's done. So I hired someone at $1,000 a year to do all that work. Don't tell Teachable I'd pay him twice that much.
Yeah, and you're not only are you getting that, because I exactly the same. All I do with in terms of accounting for my affiliates, accounting for my tax, accounting for the income, accounting, dealing with the money, all I do is 2 things. One is I transfer money out of PayPal into my bank account once a month, and the other thing is I put that number into Xero, which is my accounting package. That's 2 things, and it's the same with affiliates. Someone sells my course, one of my courses for me. I never see the money that I owe them. Teachable sends it straight to them. So I don't have to account for that. I don't have to worry every time the platform needs updating or upgrading. I don't have to worry about downtime. They just send an email saying 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not going to be available for half an hour. Well, big deal. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about membership. All that stuff is done. Make your life easy. Life is too short to learn skills that you don't need to learn. And if your passion is teaching people about, I don't know, for the sake of argument, cooking, then just find the skills that you absolutely have to learn to teach people to cook, and let someone else take care of the rest.
Absolutely. I mean, we could talk about this for hours, and we won't.
Yeah.
Well, at least I could, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
Just like, go to Teachable, go to Kajabi, go to wherever, sign up for the free or little basic plan, put up a course, let it ride, shoot people to it, invite people to it, have people come take it, get your feet wet, learn how to do it, blah, 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 blah. You're going to go drive a car, go get a 58 Chevy that you paid $500 for, smash it into a few poles safely, before you go buy your Maserati. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And don't sign up for the most expensive tier. They will tell you that if you're serious about building a business, you've got to sign up for the most expensive tier and get all our free extras as well. Go for the cheapest, lowest price tier. If they offer a free tier, if a platform that does what you need it to do offers a free tier to evaluate it, make full use of that, and only start paying when you know there's some income and you have to, or because there's no point in spending $200-300 a month on a service when you're only going to be selling one or two $50 courses a month, or even fewer.
Or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people do that, and there is a little bit of a Ponzi scheme about it, because don't spend loads of money until you know that you've got something that will sell, and then you're minimizing your risk and you're away.
Hey, I can finally do this. Check this out.
It's a retiming function. It's available in Premiere Pro, in DaVinci, in Vegas, and in Final Cut. You can do retiming, and that's what I did, yes, Captain Jack, with Kevin's 6-minute rant. I just retimed it down to 3 minutes.
Absolutely. Michael is so correct. The thing is these people, I mean, come on, people. Okay, another rant coming. 1 minute.
1 minute.
When somebody offers you stuff that helps you for free, for the most part, me, I don't care. Like a business or a company, they are expecting you to pay for something eventually. If they didn't, they go out of business. So A, they go out of business and you're screwed because you invested all your time in it. Or B, they're going to come back at you and they're going to try and upsell you. Next point is, so expect to be upsold. They're upselling you for a good reason. They're saying, we're letting you try our product, and if you don't pay us and we give it for free, we're not here, and you invested all this time to create your university. I'm sorry, we're out of business. Well, that's stupid. You want to pay the service that works for you so they stay in business. Number two, if they come along and say, hey, we'll offer you free for 7 days or 14 days to create your courses in your university and everything else, and then we'll start that, that's not enough time. 2 weeks is not enough time to create, post, sell, get people there to see if it's going to work for the most part. You need like 30 days at a minimum, and you're going to have to hurry up, or 60 days or 90 days, or a free plan. And then you're like, hey, this is working. They're going to charge me, making this up, $12 a month. And I'm making $50 a month to get the next level of tier where I can post high resolution videos. Okay. I'm done. I think that was a minute.
Yeah. And the other thing is, think about timing. you don't need to sign up for a service until you've got a course to post. A lot of people sign up for the service and then they'll start making their videos. That's crazy, because what you need to do is to have everything ready to post, then sign up for the service. And that's the sensible way to do it.
I was paying $39 a month originally on the basic plan before they changed it. I was paying $39 a month because I wanted to get going. Was it 6 months or 9 months?
Yeah.
Before I had my course ready.
Yeah.
Money. Whoosh.
Yeah. And also, if you are looking at doing this as a serious way to try and make some money, think of it as a business. And if you are going to start a business, you're going to say, right, how much do I need to invest? And you say, well, how much can I afford to lose if I invest it and it really doesn't work out? So if you're going to do this, maybe say, okay, over the next couple of years, I might need to invest $500. I'll need some software. I might need an upgrade to a lens or whatever, or I might need a green screen background or something. So actually budget it out and ask yourself, do I have that amount of money available? And if the worst thing happens and I don't make any money at it before I kind of run out of money, how upset would I be if I wrote this off? And you need to think like a business person, because you are creating a business. It might be a small mom and pop business, initially. It might never get beyond that. Or it might really grow. Some people have built courses and they are making seriously large amounts of money. But most course makers are not making a huge amount of money. They're supplementing other income streams. Some, like Kevin and I, we have got to the stage where we are fortunate enough that the package of different online businesses that we are creating, our courses, our YouTube, other bits and pieces, are enough to keep the lights on and keep us in a way that we're happy with.
Yep.
I personally would like to grow mine a bit more, but I also know, if I'm realistic and not too greedy about it, I don't need to grow it very much more to be very satisfied with that level. And you've got to also understand, what is your level?
I want to 10x everything I'm doing. My YouTube channel, which I can do, the university, which I can do, my affiliate links. Oh, look, I finally am able to do this. Hey, if you want to check out Teachable, affiliate link below. That's a joke.
For me, it's that way. That way.
Is it?
No, for you it's down, but for me it's that way.
Yeah, it looks right to me.
Yeah, that's right.
When you point.
Yeah.
There's an affiliate. It's a joke.
Yeah.
We do this all the time. I mean, that's the platforms. You're going to be, no matter what editor, phone, camera, blah, 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 blah. Grass is always greener. Shut the doors. If you're not making something and you just keep buying new crap, unless you like that, and you're being enticed over to something else, then close the doors and go make something. We have how we use, for YouTubers, how we use YouTube as a marketing channel. I do use it as a marketing channel. That's not its purpose. We have affiliates, and we have a few social media and promotions stuff before we get into the Q&A. Would you like to take this over?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be really rude since I'm the host. I'm going to go get some more coffee while you're talking.
Okay, give me one.
Back. I will get you one. How about that?
Yes, that'd be nice if you could deliver it, please.
You bet.
Okay, so yeah, marketing is you've got to sell something. You've got to reach people, and funnily enough, I started my YouTube channel, the Online PM Courses YouTube channel, as a way of marketing my online PM courses training, and it was just one of a number of marketing channels, but at some point, I realized that it was growing and I was making some decent ad revenue from it. And it occurred to me that rather than focus on the courses and make some videos in the hope to sell courses, I'd focus on the YouTube channel and then use the courses as a way of monetizing the YouTube channel. So I've kind of pivoted my view 180 degrees. But if you are going to sell particularly video courses, and particularly courses that are based around you and who you are and your expertise and your, to an extent, personality, YouTube is the perfect platform to market from, because people can really evaluate you. They can hear your tone of voice, your style, your personality, and you can demonstrate your knowledge and expertise. So YouTube is a brilliant way to market a knowledge-based product, like a course or a book, or the sort of resources that people might need, like checklists, things like that, because you've got a way of talking to people, building a rapport with your audience, and letting them evaluate how you describe the things you talk about and teach. So I think YouTube is the perfect marketing channel. The next thing I think is quite useful is to think about affiliates. And it's very difficult to do affiliates if you don't have a platform that manages affiliates for you, because there are platforms that just do affiliates that you can bolt onto other ways of doing things. But Teachable, as an example, has an affiliate module built in. And the great thing about affiliates is they are motivated to go and sell your stuff to their contacts. But they will only be motivated if they get enough reward. So people who are, if you're Amazon, you can offer 5% because your products are low margin, high volume, and you don't need the affiliates massively. I offer my affiliates 50% of the income, and it's 50% of the headline income. So if you as a customer of mine pay $100, my affiliate gets 50, and then all the costs, the transaction fees, the PayPal fees, the credit card fees, the margin that Teachable makes all come out of my 50%. But I do that because I kind of experimented with advertising on Facebook, and it's expensive. And it's hit and miss. So with a good affiliate, if you incentivize them to work well, they will try and sell it. But do not make the mistake, I would say, of putting your carefully crafted high integrity course onto one of these affiliate platforms where affiliates will sign up to sell your stuff, because their incentive is to sell as much as possible, as quickly as possible. And they will have no compunction about making promises that you can't keep. So I invited affiliates in my own niche, competitors, if you like, but other project managers who are out there and have a platform. Some of them do sell my product and make good money on every sale. And I also have on my website an invitation to become an affiliate, but I would say I have turned down more applications than I've accepted, because I want people who are going to be capable of selling well, with integrity and putting things across. So affiliates is a great way to sell. And then there's all the other stuff. I'm not a big fan of social media. I don't use Twitter well. I don't use Facebook well. I don't even use LinkedIn well, though that is my primary social medium after YouTube. And by not using them well, I mean, think about the words social media. To make them work well, you have to treat them as a social exchange. You have to engage with people personally. I haven't got the time or the inclination to do that. So I use Twitter badly. I have a tool that automatically tweets out when I create content. It automatically tweets it out. I have a service that I can set up to automatically send a series of 12 tweets over the course of a year, front loaded so that they're more frequent at the beginning of the year and then they get less frequent. So I can set up a campaign and it just sends it out. I don't actually engage with people on Twitter properly. It's just effectively I'm using it like a billboard. And billboards, they work, but don't expect that they're going to engage people well. They just if they see the right thing at the right time, then maybe they'll come to it and buy. Kevin, I can't hear you. I don't know if other people can.
Hi.
Aha!
When one mutes oneself, one should unmute oneself. I suck at
Best advice all day.
marketing and sales, which is weird because I know a ton about it. I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
If I could hire someone to do it that I could trust, I would do it. As far as affiliates, I have some affiliates. They all respect the people who are my affiliates who happen to be here. I'm not dissing you. I don't care. They don't know how to do it. I pay affiliates 40%. If someone drives someone to my university for a free course, and within 365 days they sign up for something, they get 40%. Now, one would think, woohoo, that's not how it works, because I don't caper, talk to my affiliates. I don't push them. I don't ask them to do stuff. I've made maybe 5 or 10 affiliates. I need someone who's really knows marketing, who's honest, who I trust, not to say, hey, come take the YouTube course and you'll make $1 million. And I also don't trust someone. I'm not saying they are trustworthy people. I yet have to move into that range of having someone else speak for me. It's not that you've been watching this whole time. I'm not the greatest speaker in the world, but to mouthpiece for me. Like, hey, you could take the course, take the course, take the course, take the course, take the course. Like, stop it. You're spamming people. Stop. But how am I going to make money? Like, I need someone with some logic and brains, and that makes sense. And they're vested. They like the course. They're willing to promote it. And most affiliate people who sign up for me go, I think it's the same word exam on them. I'm going to sign up for an affiliate. Cool. And now I'm going to promote all this stuff. And, oh, yeah, I need to take out the trash and I need to go to work. And being an affiliate is work. It takes time. It takes planning. Social media subject, before we get into the Q&A, for me, I have a Twitter disease. I love to get on Twitter. I spend way too much time on there, and it's because my other creator friends, many of you are in here, many you know the Curtis Judd and the Dave Andrades and the Gerald Unduns, and the list goes on and on and on. That's where I hang out. That's where I'm with fellow people. That's where I post stuff. And I don't use it as a marketing tool because I don't think it goes over well. Facebook, I have the university page, which, by the way, apparently this is streaming on the university page, the group. I can't find it. I don't know what it's doing right now. I'm not a Facebook guy. I don't take out ads. I just suck at it. And one day I'm going to find someone to do that. And I'm not going to do that because at this point I have such limited bandwidth. If I took that over, everything else would fail. So as far as promotions and social media, I know what I need to do and how it should be done. I just have never found anybody vested enough to jump into that game and do it. I mean, hey, the math is simple. If I had a $100 course and somebody was driving people over there, I'm making this up, let's say they sold 10 a week. That's $10,000. They're getting $400 times 4. They're $1,600 a month for going, hey, check this course out. Hey, Facebook people. If I was making $1,000, let's say I made $500 as an affiliate, and I took 250 of that, and I started taking out Facebook ads and everything else, chink, boom, chink, boom, chink, boom. In theory, to wit, the reason why I'm saying all this is not that you can't do that, but if you're going to depend on affiliates, much like if you make it, they will come to sell your courses for you. You may be in for great disappointment. And it's another thing that you're going to have to spend time on and figure it out. Sales and marketing. If you're not sales and marketing, I guarantee you if I had someone who did sales and marketing, I could 100x what I'm doing. I haven't found that person. And frankly, I'm not willing to take the time to train them what I want to do. So there you go. What do you think about that? Where are we at? Hey, we're at the Q&A portion.
Hey,
And
that's
we're
the
at
best
an
bit.
hour and a half. There were some questions in here.
Good.
I'm going to go through here. Or statements. Use whatever you have as a camera. If it was made in the last 6 years, you will get away with enough lighting. Any lighting, natural, artificial. Gear is not your problem.
Yeah.
It's not.
Unless
Gear is not your
you're living in the 1990s, your phone will probably be perfectly sufficient for making.
Yeah. If you're still using a Motorola flip phone,
Yeah, that's
maybe.
the problem. Yeah.
You could take a phone. Here's the secret. There are, I don't know personally, but I know of at least 1,000 other course creators who make over $10,000 a month, and they sit there with their phone and go blah, 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 or they sit here and they put slides up and go blah, blah, blah on their crappy computer, and they make between $5,000 and $10,000 a month going blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying it's out there. So like YouTube, like becoming affiliate, like making courses or online offerings or Zoom sessions, or I know how to play bass. I'm not great. Other people don't even know how to use a bass. That makes me better than them, so I can teach them. If you don't start and you don't persist, you got nothing. Ching! And corollary, don't bitch. Well, I started a YouTube channel and it didn't work. You weren't persistent. You didn't hang in there. You didn't post content. Well, I put up an affiliate link for it. It didn't work. Well, I applied to Amazon and they denied me. I guess I'm not going to be an affiliate. This is not persistence on a given course. I've been doing this YouTube crap. Is it 7 or 8 years now? Yeah. I got 125,000 subscribers, or more than that now. Woo! 8 years.
Yeah.
There are people who started last year that have 50,000. Little bastards. I'm joking. And you could be like, I will admit I am very closed about my university, the members. I'm overprotective. My viewers. If I wasn't and I was treating this strictly as a business, which I don't, which is my game, I would go hire a marketing company and say, this is what I'm paying you. This is what I expect. This is the sales I expect. Here's a percentage I'm paying for you. Go. I would go hire someone to do my video editing, someone to do my thumbnails, and I would create content like this. And you'd be seeing 3 or 4 or 5 videos every week. It would push people over to the university, and I'd easily be making $25,000 a month. Well, you should do that, Kev. I don't want to. Check.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah. And that's it. You've got to decide what is your end game. What matters to you, and design around that. And if you want to, frankly, if you want to get rich quick, very rich very quickly, this isn't the route, or at least not if you're going to do it with high integrity. You are going to need to compromise on something, and your morals is going to be one of those things. But if you have integrity and you can be happy with a business where you work at it and you get rewards that are consistent with the effort you put in, then it's worth considering.
I do this because I love doing it. I love helping people. I love people, and I love helping them. That's number 1. Number 2 is I love interacting, engaging, and I love that people learn something. Number 3 is I can do it, and I can make some money at it. I could easily flip it the other way around. For me, this is a personal thing. I'm not saying go there or don't go there. I would not enjoy what I'm doing because I'm going after the money. It's just a personal thing. I feel you on the marketing, Kevin. Owned and operated an office equipment company for 30 years. as a tech, I hated it, but learned an awful lot over the years, but still hated it. Yeah, it sucks when you hate what you're doing. Now, we could go real basic and say you could wake up every morning and just change your mind about that. Or not. I love what I do. And look, it's okay. Here I go. Here comes another rant. Better turn on that minute timer. Here's number one. It's okay to make money. It's okay to freaking make money. And when you start making money and you have all these little creeps coming out of the little, ooh, you sold your soul. You're on YouTube and you make money. You can envision what I'm doing right here. These are like creeps. These are people trying to tear you down. It's okay to make money. When you make money, you pay taxes and you support police and government and teachers and education and roads and signs and blah, blah, blah. You buy things at stores and that supports people, jobs and everything else. It's okay to make money. And if you 10x the amount of money you make, you just 10x the amount of things you did. It's okay to make money. So just, if you're going to do something like this, you need to get this enemy vapid line out of your head that it's, well, if I make a lot of money, it's not okay. If you're one of those people who constantly look at the other people and go, well, look at that guy. You know, he makes a lot of money and he's an asshole. And you need to stop because you will never make money. End of rant.
Yeah. And I think, picking up on Ravenwolf's point, I enjoy what I do. I'm not saying that every single day, every single minute is fun. There are frustrations, there are annoyances. But the fact is that if you've got a job or you've created a job for yourself where you can get up on Saturday morning, as I did this morning, knowing my wife and daughter were going out for the morning, and think, actually, great, I can create, I can do something to further extend the website that I've built, which I'm really proud of, and feel at the end of that morning that I've been creative and I've created something and it's infrastructure that's going to be valuable long term, and I've enjoyed the process. That's a good way of life. The fact that I still haven't figured one thing out, which is bugging the hell out of me, and I might just have to contact one of our friends about how his thoughts about how I might do it, but that's frustrating, and it's less than pleasurable to go around in circles not fixing it. But the fact is that I enjoy what I do. I primarily do it because I need to earn some money, but I rather than say that I'm not doing it for the money, I am doing it for the money. But my mindset is, if I earn enough to keep the family, so that we can have a holiday every year and we've got a nice roof over our head and we get decent food on our table, that's enough. Anything else, that's a bonus, and I'll make some choices when that happens.
Well, I could tell you, after years of experience, because I go look, the people who complain about your videos and bitch and complain and leave crappy comments, they can't make videos.
Yeah.
The people who complain about you making money and how you shouldn't make money and everything else, either A, are just crappy, bitchy people. Well, YouTube's going to slam this video down for language.
Only yours.
Only mine. They're people who are those same commenters. B, they're just, oh, I'm a big victim and I can never make money and blah, blah. You don't want these people around you. Or C, are the people who would scream if they showed up at work and someone said, hey, you should come to work and not get paid for your work.
Yeah.
I don't know what the disconnect is for people is here. Yeah. I work my butt off. I work between 70 and over 100 hours a week because I love what I do. And the minute someone comes along and goes, oh, you're actually going to charge $39 for a course? I delete them out of my comments, my life. I block them. They're freaking gone because that's poison. And it's a small percentage of people trying to bring you down. Sorry, another rant. I'm scripting the final video, restoring a 1990 Mac. Yeah, Ravenwolf, man. He's got some cool stuff. Doodle-doo. Well, we're talking about computers. Here we go. Don't get me wrong. There were a ton of things I loved about my business, but as the owner, you have to wear a lot of hats, and inevitably, you're not going to be good at and love all of them. That's so true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is so true, which is why I haven't dived into the marketing stuff. I know, hey, here's a dichotomy for you. I've consulted small, medium, and very large companies on how to fix their marketing and sales successfully, a lot. But I hate it. I hate marketing and I hate sales.
It's interesting that's why I hit upon this YouTube first strategy, because it struck me that I hate marketing, but what is the biggest marketing business in the world? It's Google. And what's their video marketing platform? It's YouTube. So I let them do the marketing for me. I'm not saying that it's entirely passive and I don't have to do anything, but it's a great platform if you use it well.
I just see the same thing on YouTube. Oh, YouTube, and they suck, man. And same thing as the Mac versus PC, Premiere versus... You should come over to Odyssey because YouTube sucks. Just stop. If you're like ditching YouTube to go over to Odyssey because I don't know, maybe you're a bitchy person or whatever, you're not going to gain anything by that. And you're going to spend a lot of time. This is cool. It's interesting that while some people say it's wrong to make money on your own business, yet those same people think working for someone else's company, they should be paid more money. This is true.
Yeah.
This is way true. Look, I've talked about this in other live streams. You need to clean your house if you're going to succeed. My house is my life. I don't allow bitchy, whiny people into my house. I don't allow people into my house that are anti-making money, that are well, Apple and Walmart and these big companies make a ton of money and they suck, dude. They're gone. So let's do away with those companies and have the worst unemployment ever, and the cards that fall across taxes and things that are supporting all the jobs. Like, these people can't connect dots. I have nothing to do with them. Oh, you suck and your videos suck and you're terrible and you're terrible. Their door slammed. You're out of here. And I suggest, with intelligence, with kindness, because not everybody, people have bad days, to take a look around when you're like, well, I play the piano and I was thinking about maybe doing lessons for other people, but, there are people better than me and, well, no, you can't succeed at that. People aren't going to pay you. But I suggest, unless you're married to that person, some friend or whatever, that you go, bye. It was a couple decades ago. I don't know why I got on this or finally did this. I cleaned house. I had friends who were not. I had consultants. I had employees. I had a life. I somehow stepped back away from the cliff and went, poison. I got rid of these people, out of my life. You're done. Either get your crap together or get out of my life. I'm not inviting you in my house. Hi, welcome to my house. For you to go, well, life sucks, man. And I hate the president, man. Hey, and is your wife really a good... They're gone. And I have been successful at everything I've been doing ever since. Just tip. Now I'm going to get sued for 16 divorces. Gotta leave. Okay. See you, Michael. We got to wrap this up. Apple hardware, and I've tried, but nothing I feel like Neanderthal with Apple, but we're in the Mac stuff. What do you current? Oh, we're talking about gear. Okay. An actual course-related question.
Excellent.
I feel that I need to build an audience and credibility before thinking about a course. Oh, Oh, me. Yes, you need an audience. Yes, you need credibility. But here's the thing. I wish I could go back and myself. If I had started YouTube and built my courses when I had nobody around and I had no subscribers and no one was watching, and I went through that learning process, right now, I'd be making a lot of money contributing to the society. Thank you very much. I would have hundreds of courses over at the university. I'd have 10, 20, 30 free courses. I'd be making YouTube videos, and I've had other people working for me. Because I didn't, as my channel grew, and I went, oh, now I should start a course thing. And as that grew, I went, oh, maybe I should collect emails. Point being, when I'm small in YouTube or making courses or doing affiliate stuff, I can make all my mistakes and learn. And as things grow, then I'm streamlining things and making it better. If you wait till later, like if I was just starting my school right now, it would be a disaster. So my suggestion is start now. You have nothing to lose. Yeah. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. The challenge, one of the things I train people in is personal time management. And it is certainly true that if you try to multitask, you will fail at everything. So it's not about multitasking. It's about at the start of your journey of building a YouTube channel and building some course infrastructure to sell, you should be starting to think about, okay, what are the stages I'm going to be going through and where do I want to be? So you might say, well, I'm going to focus the first year on building a YouTube channel, understanding how it works, creating a cadence, getting good at it. But during that, I'm going to put a little bit of time into perhaps building a website or perhaps building a first course, something very simple. Have a strategy and dedicate an amount of time. Don't try and multitask. Segment that time to do something and to build out the infrastructure of what's going to be coming. So that, and I very deliberately have a minimum of a full day, but usually 2-3 days, sometimes a whole week, depending on where I am. If every December, where I think about what's coming up next year. Now that's as a full-time business person, but you should allow a period of time each year to think about the strategy. What's coming up next year, and what do I want to achieve? Where do I want to focus my effort, and what is the balance of effort I want to put into different things? You need a balanced portfolio of activities in everything you do. And I would agree with Kevin, if you are not, even in the early days, starting to think about how you're going to take the following that you're growing and learn how to serve them via email, how you're going to find out from those people what it is they want to learn, so that you've got the option of delivering a service to them, either a course or perhaps, if we're talking about retro tech, perhaps offer them perhaps a tool tip, some tool tips or tool guide or a safety guide, something that is of use to them. Think about an early stage thing that you can give away that will encourage people to exchange that benefit for their email address, so that you can then come back to them and make them an offer later. You've got to build that strategy in from the early days, so that because what will happen is, if your YouTube channel grows massively, you've then got a beast to feed and you don't know how to serve those people any other way. And then you're going to be making your mistakes and doing your learning and making your mistakes, which is how we do our learning. But you'll be doing that with a large group of people who have come to start to trust you, and you might squander some of that trust. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're doing your learning with the early adopters, they will stay with you. But frankly, it is a numbers game. And if you lose some of them because you don't get it right early on, then you're only losing a few people and you're not squandering a reputation. So think in terms of segmenting your time, whatever time you've got available, whether you've got 5 full days a week, as I have to my online business, well, most of 5 full days a week, or whether you are working full time and you've only got 2 or 3 evenings a week. Ask yourself, how are you going to use that time to get to where you want to get to? And I'm assuming now that you are not thinking about YouTube as purely a hobby, which for some people it is, and that's entirely fine. You know, Google creates that platform and you can use it as a hobby to talk to friends and people like you. But if you think you want to grow, if you want to grow beyond that and monetize that hobby, then be thinking about it from the early days. Even if your strategy is to wait, to not do anything about it for 6 months, that's a strategy and you can feel good about that.
Well, and here's the thing is, I think there are some real basics to people not doing this. There are 1,000. Hey, Michael just mentioned something before I go into this other thing about multitasking. There's nothing wrong with handling multiple things. It's way overrated. Let's just do basic math here. Instead of concentrating on a task and getting it done, I'm going to butter myself and my time over 20 different things and get nothing done. That's the math. Period. The end. Or you have the antithesis of this. This really pisses me off. Is if you concentrate on one thing, or if you are doing one thing at a time and you don't do other things and you don't multitask, then you're some OCD person. That really pisses me off. I'm not invalidating people who have that. It's just another frickin' excuse that you will buy into. Trust me, when you're doing this stuff, if you're not aware of it, there's stuff all over the place that you can agree to or not that will keep you from doing what you want to do. Oh, well, you're OCD because you're concentrating on one course and making YouTube, and you're not living a life and taking vacations and every 2 weeks and only working 35 hours a week. Door slam. Bam. Bye. These people do not have your best interests. So I just have this little rant of, don't get so focused onto your course for the next 9 months that you don't do anything else. But don't get so focused on 50 other things, trying to do them all at the same time, that you never get anything done. I mean, use some logic here. If I apply, as Michael was saying, if I apply some time to this, and I apply some time to making videos, which I love, and I balance those, and I learn how to balance doing equals learning, then I'll eventually figure it out and go, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No one who starts a business goes, well, I'm going to start a business and I'm just going to work 35 hours a week. We'll take 3 months of vacation every year and it's going to be awesome. People who start a business work their asses off 90, 100, 110 hours a week. End of a rant.
There's one other thing I want to add to Ravenwolf's point about saying that he needs to build an audience and credibility before thinking about a course. Firstly, if you get to the point where you've built credibility, that's the point where you can start selling something, but you haven't built your course, so you haven't got anything to sell. Secondly, don't underestimate the fact that having a course itself will contribute to your credibility. You know, I for a large part of my life, I'm a kind of, academic-y sort. I always wanted to write books, and the reality is that writing books for mainstream publishers is not very lucrative. I mean, you can earn some money. I'm not saying you can't, and if I look at the total amount I've earned from the 14 books, it's a good chunk of money. But if I compare that to the amount of time I spent writing those books, it's a pretty poor rate of pay. However, in terms of credibility, when I went to see people about possibly speaking at a conference, instead of giving him my business card, I gave him a copy of a book, and that gave me a lot of credibility as a potential speaker. But it also changed the conversation about the rate that I was getting paid. So having a product of quality to show people, even if you give it away in the early days, or because it's a way of building, it really does build credibility. So Ravenwolf, it is worth thinking about credibility, where it comes from. It doesn't just come from the stuff you give away. It comes from the fact that you've invested the time and created something of real value in the world.
Well, and I understand his comments. Been there, done that. But, and I don't mean to insult you by being simple, but if you take a look at, I know because I've been through this, you take a look at, let's say, an actor. Well, I have to first build my credibility before I get a gig or a TV show or in a movie. No, you get in TV shows and movies and commercials, which builds up your credibility. In other words, you produce things. The production of things that are of value is what gives you credibility in. No blah, 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 blah in the world.
Yeah.
Unless you're selling snake oil is going to give you that credibility. And I get it. I mean, Ravenwolf, I know this guy. He's got a channel. It takes him a long time to make his videos because they're really involved.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm being stupid, but Ravenwolf, here's a free course. I don't know how to do this. Here's a free course with 6 or 7 lectures on how you solder.
Yeah.
I don't know how to solder. I don't know how to, is this a good soldering iron? And like, I'm going to put two things, like how much heat do I put together? And do I wrap them or not wrap them? Or is too much heat burn the wires?
What sort of solder to use? And
like, how do I, what solder to use? And do I take it off? And do I clean it first? And what's this paste? Like, you could do a short series of 3-minute videos, 6 lectures, whatever, give it away for free on, here's a short course on soldering.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to solder.
Yeah. Exchange that for an email and you're done.
You're done.
You've got a list of people who are interested in soldering.
So it doesn't have to be soldering?
Yeah, there's an L in it, so it's soldering.
Soldering.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is spelled S-O-L-D. It's in the States. It's spelled S-O-L-D.
Soldering. Yeah, I learned something about.
Yeah, I know Americans say soldering, but soldering that's rude. A solder is a rude
solder?
word. Calling someone a solder in the UK is a rude word.
Oh, so if you say someone's a solder, it's bad?
Yeah.
Wow.
It relates to another word, but begins with sod.
Relates to another. Like sawed off?
Which is the same origin. Yeah, let's not get into the origin of words.
See, I'm stepping in poo, and I don't even know where I'm going.
It's in your Bible, and it went with Gomorrah.
Oh! Wow, that took a turn.
Solder. Anyway, let's move on to another question.
Is it feasible to have the online course, but taking the test in person, at least for you to give the okay?
I think courses that have a test, particularly accredited courses, that's a whole level more complication.
If
that's what you're talking about, continuous conversation.
I'm going to come back to that because I missed a question way up here that I had on the screen. Where is it? I know who it's from. It's Captain Jack.
While Kevin's looking for that, I'll just say that if you are going to create a course where people need to take a test, then you've got another level of complexity in terms of serving that course and the technology you need. And for tests in person, you probably need to engage with a proctoring company that will administer that either live or these days online. There are proctoring companies like Pearson VUE who will administer online training, but that online exams and stuff, but that's a whole level more complexity than I've got experience of.
That answers Captain Jack's previous question, and I'm probably going to mess this up, but he was talking about people being able to be accredited and taking online blah blah blah. That's a whole new level.
Yeah, you can certainly do
money.
online courses that deliver content to support accreditations, and depending on who's the accreditor is, you might be able to pay a certain fee to be recognized by them as offering accredited training. But yeah, that's going to take a lot more investment. In my realm, the PMI, Project Management Institute, US trade body for project managers, a membership organization, they charge a heck of a lot of money for their authorized training providers to provide accredited training for their certification courses. I very deliberately chose not to try to offer that. I offer project management training, which will support people who want to get various accreditations, but it's not tailored to those accreditations. If you want to go that route, and I guess if you're teaching people if it's Captain Jack and you want to teach people skills around sailing and handling vessels, then we're not only talking about a skill that needs a high level of certification, but it's got to be highly regulated, because people live or die by the skills of the mariners in charge, and therefore you'd expect to have high standards applying to the barrier to entry of providing a course on that. It's if Kevin gets it wrong with his color course and someone puts a YouTube video up where people's faces are green, it's going to be a matter of laughing. If someone gets their Master Mariner course wrong, then the consequences are not worth thinking about.
No, not at all. But I did for a company, this was years ago, I did a thing where it was accredited through an organization, yada, yada. You had to buy and spend a lot of money for course certificates that were valid. They could re-sign up. It was a yearly type training thing and everything else. I loved creating the content, and I hated working with the organization, because the organization that was saying you're allowed to offer accreditation and credits for this course, they determined how the course ran, how the content ran, how much testing there was, what I could say, what I couldn't say. And it really ticked me off.
Yeah.
Now, if you're offering courses for an accreditation, as Michael said, it's a whole different deal and responsibility.
Yeah.
If you're just offering courses, it doesn't freaking matter. And
yeah. You set your standards.
Just to say this, I call them squirrels. You know, the dog. Hey, I want a squirrel. On a side note, there are a ton of these when creating courses. We talked about some of these. I'm part of these online groups, people, instructors. There are thousands of these people. Well, I'm not sure people are actually taking the full course. Is there a way I can ensure they're going through every video? Well, can I offer a certificate every one? Is there some way I can track these? And they get super into what I call the mechanical details of, well, people aren't watching all my videos all the way through. Is there some way I can force them to do that? Let me say this, because you've heard me say this a million times about videos on YouTube's. I'll say it about courses. Just make courses. Just make the courses. You don't give a shit. Are they good? Are they bad? Unless you're already known, you don't care. I mean, obviously you're going to try the best course you can. Just make the course, put it out there. Yeah. Then make another one and put it out there. Just like YouTube, eventually you're going to have 20 courses. And those 5 that you started with 3 years ago, nobody cares, but you learned a lot.
Yeah. The lovely thing about this is you set your standards, but the advice that both Kevin and I would give is be realistic about the standards that you should be setting at the beginning. As long as the content has integrity, then the presentation, the fact people will put up with some pretty shoddy video technique, as long as they can hear it, frankly, and the content has integrity. That's what matters. Don't let anything go out that gives wrong advice. But if I were putting this video out, I would say, oh my God, I've done Kevin's color correction course. Look at the color of my face on this. The fact is, I don't have the tools to make it better, but I hope that the fact that my face looks pink and slightly fish-eyed, because I'm a bit thinner in real life. Hopefully that doesn't invalidate the quality of my advice. It's just the quality of my advice that invalidates that.
Really, I mean, if you're going to create courses, you're going to spend a lot of money doing this, or maybe not. Serious? Forget the Peter McKinnon made a freaking course, or Jake Sloan, or whatever. Drone guy. His videos are awesome. Go find some course on achieving self-improvement through mental, I can't say that word, stuff. And go watch a few previews, free previews. They're awful. The sound is terrible. They're sitting in their kitchen or living room. The sound's bouncing off the walls. The color is off. And they're just blah, 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 blah. And people are paying thousands of dollars for this course. So it isn't their content, because I've looked at these and it's terrible. It's that they offer something to a particular audience. And that particular audience makes a connection with that person. And that audience pays that person some money. And there you go. Really. Oh, here we go. Oh, man. I need to get on these comments. And then we need to end this soon. Currently, instructors visit a hotel to do the exams, but you only get 1 out of dozens of to 10. It really gets expensive and not worse. It's also each hotel must be. Yeah, that's a whole different deal. And it's a different genre.
Yeah.
If RetroTrek is teaching me how to solder and I burn my finger, if you're teaching people how to mariner a freaking ship out of a port, I mean,
Maybe the captain of that ship in the Suez Canal went on some cheap YouTube course.
Yeah. Hey, and there's your pitch. Do you want to be the Suez Canal captain, or actually know how to mariner?
Actually, let's be honest. Neither you or I, Kevin, know or are qualified to evaluate the facts on that one. So it is possible it had nothing to do with the skills of the captain.
Oh no, I know all about this.
Oh, do you?
Port is on one side.
Yeah, left.
Starboard's on another side. The bow is up front, and then the back is in the back.
Yeah, but I saw that ship. Where were the sails?
Wait, what?
He didn't have his sails up. That's the problem.
That's right. The companies that do IT-related professional certifications have figured out how to do remote testing with ID verification. Yeah, there's companies out there.
Pearson VUE does that for PMI. Yeah.
Yep. Why do they need soldering? Hey, I'm the first to defend people in the UK and their English, because guess what? They're using English before we were.
Yeah.
So there you go. They win. Yeah, I would investigate how IT people do that. Hey, let me just say this about creating courses. Again, RetroTech or anybody. Hey, I know how to play the bass. Oh, I hate this. Nope, wrong way. Boop, right there. I know how to play the bass. I'm pretty good. Compared to probably 5 million other people, I suck. Compared to 5 million other people, I'm pretty good. I could show people to teach them my method on how to play a bass.
It's all about the
bass. Is
bass.
it going to be better than other people? No. Is it going to be great? I don't think so. But the people that come and sign up for that course, as long as I say, hey, I'm going to show you how to play the bass, get these kind of tunes. We're going to do some drills. We're going to learn how to use a pick, ba, 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 and we're going to play some tunes. And some people will do it, and they'll get something out of it. Done. I'm not going to do that, but whatever. Second round of coffee dripping. Jake Sloan. Someday, Kevin, someday, I really hope we can meet at NAB this year or something like that. I have no context. I hope we can meet at NAB, dude. Totally. I think we're out of stuff here, Michael.
Okay.
Unless somebody's got more questions. Hey, I appreciate y'all coming and joining this. 2 hours and 5 minutes. I kind of want to say I'm getting better.
It's not 4 hours.
It's not 4 hours. This was a lot to pack in here. I just hope, I hope y'all even got some thoughts going, or you learned something, or at least you had some fun, or whatever. It's not for everybody. YouTube isn't for everybody. Businesses aren't for everybody. Some people work for other people, starting their own businesses. Don't. Great. Thank God you work for other people, or we'd kind of be screwed. Just know that, like, if any takeaway I could, and I'll let you give your takeaway, Mike Clayton, the doctor, is if you're looking at providing information that other people don't know, recognize that you have things that other people don't know. You can make an offering, PDFs, horse saddles, how to play a piano or a bass at whatever level you're at, how to solder things together or do retro tech, how to, roasting coffee. It doesn't matter. There's a huge population out there that doesn't know what you know currently, and they'll do it. And if you're into doing that and you want to do that, or you want to expand to that now in the future, all I could say is, if you like doing that, go for it and don't let anything stop you.
Yeah. So for me, I think, first thing is I'm going to say, actually, don't do it unless you really want to. But for me, the reason for doing it, the reason why I do it, yes, I need to earn money. But what I found that I really like about it is creative. At the end of the day, if I'm building a course, even if I'm doing thumbnails for YouTube videos, at the end of the day, I have created something that wasn't there at the beginning. And for me, I'm not, the artistic-y kind of creative-y sort. I'm not, I can write books, but I'm never going to write novels. I'm never going to do poetry. It's just arranging information in a new format to make it easier for people to assimilate and understand. But at the end of a day's work, I have created something. I've created something that will help people, or will help get something that will help people to them. And if that appeals to you, particularly if you're in a job or have a life where you don't feel you're creating enough, this is a route to being creative, to using what you know to make something and bring something into the world that is of value to other people. And that's what I enjoy. At the end of this morning, I had a website that was pretty much working, and I had some nice new graphics that I could put on the website, and I loaded some stuff up, and I felt, you know what, that wasn't there this morning, and it's there now, and I'm pleased with that, and that makes me feel good. And if that appeals to you, then building courses, building content for people that will help educate them is a route to that you should consider. I will say no more than you should consider it, because it might not be right for you.
And don't buy, I'll leave with two things. And I'll leave this comment on the screen because it's hilarious, because we have a joke going on. Jake and Sloan and I go back and forth. I've been hammering him. Is the drone course done yet? Is the drone course? And somebody decided that Jake Sloan should do a course on that I should take on how to end the live stream. But I'll leave you with these thoughts. I believe this to be a fact. You can take it as an opinion if you like. First is, I believe, as human beings, whether you're religious or not, whether you think we're DNA or there's some God or gods or greater beings or came from alien civilizations, I don't give a shit. But I do know one thing that I think is true is that our superpower as human beings is we can create things. And it doesn't matter what it is. Creating families, creating happy children, creating jobs, creating money, creating dogs, like it, that sounded weird, robo-dog, creating new products, creating or help creating others in their business. I think that's our superpower, which is creating. I think the answer to all BS is go create something, whatever that means to you. And where you get all your crap and where you get these commenters on YouTube, they're very small. Keep this in mind. Where you get people coming at you are people who can't. If you look at I'm going to call them losers, and I don't mean that in a bad way, although that sounds bad. The people who come after you or down talk you or blah, blah, they are usually on the downhill slide or already there. They can't create. You look at these video people that leave comments on your videos. Go look at their channels. They can't create something. If you can't create, you're screwed. If you like to create, go do more of it. If that's courses or YouTube or playing for other people or bringing a smile to the store checkers, you're creating something. I think that's our superpower, and I think if you want to do that, you should go do it, and don't let anybody dissuade you otherwise. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Go paint something if that's what you like doing. And hey, if you know how to paint something or draw something or pencil something, you can go create a course on that. Anyway, that's all I have to say. There you go. How am I going to end this live stream? Don't make them nervous. Thank you. Thank you all. Two talking heads, it adds more flavor to the subject. Man, if I didn't know you, Captain Jack, I would wonder about cannibal stuff. Here's how I'm going to end the live stream. I'm not sure I'm going to end it because I'm using this, but I'm going to try and end it here because I think it's just going to end. I might be able to throw up that. No, I'll just probably end it and say bye-bye.
Michael Clayton, McKinnon.
Yeah. Dr. Clayton. Whenever I call you the doctor, I always think of Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
And I always
grew up with Doctor Who.
I always wonder if I get a... Right now I'm re-binging, don't judge me, Torchwood.
Oh, yes. I like that.
I love Torchwood. It's, whatever. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Next week, I'm stacking these up. I have Dave Andrade, who is a professional, really knows his stuff about color correction and color grading. And he's going to answer all your questions the week after that. I'm going to have Jake Sloan on. He's going to answer all your... I'm not answering your questions about... he's going to do most of the talking. He's going to answer your questions about drones and filming with drones and everything about drones. I just realized...
Droning on.
Sloan and drone.
Droning on about drones.
Droning on. Sloan drone. The Sloan drone. Wow. Anyway, I appreciate you all for joining us, and I hope you learned something. I hope that you got something out of this. Mr. Clayton, thank you again.
I've enjoyed
very
it.
much.
It's been great. Privilege to be part of it.
Yeah.
Usually just watch it.
I always learn something from you. Anyway, this stream is not going to have any outro and blah, blah, blah and everything else. It's just going to end because I don't know how to do that on
StreamYard.
StreamYard. Thank you for joining us. See you next week. And have a great day. Bye.
Bye.